Yes, to open MOBIS, shall click onto the browser. We put the URL link, which is that. After which, login page will come in. We have to place the username and password. Then we click on sign in. Then the display of the system will come up. In here we have the configuration menu, the loans, customers, shares, savings, cash management reports, transactions, media, and also the login out. So in here we shall be able to see our dashboard. The dashboard simply shows us the volume of transactions we have in respect to total deposits, total withdrawals, pending approvals, pending disbursement, total disbursement, and total membership. Below it, we have graphs that will be able to show us the daily savings, monthly member registration, total disbursement, the liquidity level or ratios, to name a few. Now, under configurations, this is where we set up our financial institution settings to a workable environment. For example, here is where we set in our chart of accounts. In our chart of accounts, it has been segmented into about 5 layers or categories. That includes assets, liabilities, capital, income, and expenses. For instance, if we want to create an asset account, we click onto asset. It will populate these sub accounts and assets. Herein we come in and say we want to create, say, a bank account, and the bank account could be called Stanchart Bank. So I click onto the add button. I come in here and create my bank name to be called Stanchart Bank. Then I click onto save, and for a user to know that the account that has been created has been saved, it will populate by giving us a response that account created. So here we can go back to our menu item by clicking onto that. When we click onto that, then we get back to our configuration. We can now choose the next step. So that will be like the process flow of how to configure your chart of accounts. You can still go back and also configure your branch settings. This is where you're able to set up a number of branches within your institution. To be able to do that, we shall click on to register branch. When we click on to register branch, a page will populate where we shall have to choose the institution name, which is populated by that. We give the branch number, which is maybe branch 1, or branch 2, and we call it, say, Nansana. We give an email, that is nansana@gmail.com. We give the address, which is Wakiso. We give the value of a share, which could be 25,000. Reporting period is normally 12 months in a financial year. Minimum shares could be 1 for each and every financial institution that has the shares component. Then maximum shares could be maybe like 5. The loan share percentage, for someone to be able to get a loan, it could be maybe like one should be having 20% of the shares value to qualify for a loan. Then savings, you find that some member or some financial institutions, to be able to access a loan, you should be having some percentage of savings to qualify for a respective loan amount. For example, it could also be like 10% of the loan amount the applicant is trying to request for. Then guaranteed share percentage. This is where for the guarantors who are guaranteeing the applicant should be able to have some percentage of his shares which should rhyme to the loan amount being applied for. So here we can put 5%, then guaranteed savings save percentage. This is simply the savings percentage that a guarantor should have to enable the applicant access the loan. This could also be like 5. Then the brand prefix for non-signer could be NA, after which we can be able to attach a logo for a respective say branch. We come in there and I attach any logo, after which then I click onto the save button. So in here I'll be able to see the list of my successfully registered branches. I can go further and set for the savings products, for the different savings products I have within my institution. I can go further and also be able to set or to configure the different loan products I have within my institution, make the savings, make the provision settings for the institution, and also be able to set up all the staff members within the institution. Not forgetting also setting up the users who will be using the system on a daily basis. They should be able to have access, and to be able to have access, one needs to have, first and foremost, to be attached to a particular user group. After being attached to a particular user group, then we shall be able to give rights based on each menu item. For example, like say if someone's a systems admin and you want the person to only be able to configure the chart of accounts, under here we click onto this button of configuration, then click onto the chart of accounts. Maybe say should also be able to set up the branch settings, savings product settings, loan product settings, and that is all under the configurations menu. Then we come to loans. What should someone be able to do? Maybe under loans we have to click because it's a menu item. Then under it the person should be able to maybe apply, approve, and disburse. So after doing that, then you find that maybe you don't want this respective user group to be able to create any customer or book any shares transactions or savings or do anything related to cash management, neither see reports nor transactions. So in that case we shall not click onto any checkbox under the menu, but we shall just click on submit. After doing that, then we can go back and say, okay, yes, we're finished to create our user group. Now the next thing for us to do is to create the users. Now creating the users, here we have to key in our username, put the password of that user, after which confirm the password, then attach that user to a respective user group. Remember, in the first level we are creating our user group. Now here we are attaching every user group we are creating to a respective, we are attaching each user we are creating to a respective user group. And the different user groups we have here is the super admin, branch manager, credit supervisor, accountant, credit officer, tailor, administrator, to name a few. After attaching that, then we need also to attach a cash account. The reason as to why sometimes we do this is because we need for accountability purposes. Because you'll find that some of the users within the system, they may want to abuse their roles that they have been assigned or tasked with within the system, which may result to fraud and stuff like that. So by attaching an account, it means that whosoever is a user should be held and accountable for his actions. That may sometimes be even contrary, because you find that in a financial institutions, not all people really are very professional, but this is one way of having some checks and balances. After doing that, then we set in the start date. The start date is simply the date at which this user has to begin using the system. Then what is the status of this user? Can be active, inactive, suspended, pending. After doing that, we click into the submit button, which is below here. Then we have the other tab, which is the roll call. Roll call is simply to roll call all our users we have within the financial institutions who are mandated to be using the system. What do I mean? They should be having a username and password. So on a daily basis, the systems admin has to come in here and roll call. And the beauty is that with MOBIS, that it will be able to record the time at which you are roll calling. Then from there you choose the username by clicking to the drop down menu, after which then click onto roll call. Now when I click onto roll call, it will give me a message that user activated for 2017 January on the 16th at such and such a time. Such that when I come back to the previous labels and I click onto list roll calls, I will be able to see that Andrew in here, the status is present. Why? Because I have roll called. Then for the rest of the users, it shows absent. It means they are absent from work and they are not mandated to access the system, not until they have been roll called. So I come in here and also maybe set up or configure public holidays, holder settings by clicking onto the label, add new. I come here and I type in my public holiday. I put my date. My public holiday, and I click on save. When I click on save, it tells me holiday, Christmas Day, successfully registered, and I can click onto the list to list for me all the public holidays I have. So this is a sample of the different public holidays we have into the system. The purpose as to why we're having this is to enable the system be able to calculate the due dates that the client will be falling due when he's to pay his loan. Then uploading. Uploading is where we upload a client's data. When I click onto that, it will populate for me. This is where we upload customized biodata. Then this tab here is where we upload the transactions. Then in here is to enable the user be able to see the list of the uploaded files. Then when I come in here is password management. Under password management, this is where I can be able to assign under which user group should someone access the system during what time. For example, I come here and I choose, say, a branch manager. Say for today, I want the system to wake up at 9 o'clock a.m. and should sleep by say 5 p.m. And once I click on to update, it means to say for today, only people fall under the user group of branch manager should be able to access the system between this time period, that is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Outside that, a user will not be able to access. But also on the other hand, I can also tell the system that, look, I want to lock people from accessing the system. I put the wake up time and sleep time. Then when I click onto lock today, it means that the users under this respective user group I'm choosing here will not be able to access the system. As I move forward, select user group. Here, once I come and I say I select a user group and I say okay, the wake up time could be maybe 8:30 under credit officer, credit supervisor, sorry. I come in here, then I say, how about sleep time? Sleep time could be maybe say something to do with, let's say 18 hours. And I come in here, say, okay, password of this user group should expire after 30 days. So I come in here and I say, okay, this is for weekday. Wake up time, sleep time. How about for weekends? Weekends I would say, okay, wake up time could be say like something like 10 and sleep time could be like something like 1, which is 13 hours here. And once I schedule that, it would mean that during weekdays, under this respective user group, this user group can be able to access the system between the specified time frame, as in the system wakes up at 8:30 a.m. and sleeps at 18 hours. Then on weekends, the system has been scheduled to wake up at 10 a.m. and sleep at 13 hours. So that when I click on to schedule, set schedule, it will give me this message. Are you sure you want to set the password controls? I'll say okay. Then it will say successfully set password management control. And there I'm done. Then I can go to the next user group based on which user groups I want to have their passwords controlled. So that is it. I come another one here. That is closing month. When I click on closing month,